I'm John, a company employee. I met my wife, Catherine, at the company, and it was love at first sight for both of us. We started dating right away and enjoyed our secret office romance. My wife is a crybaby, a scaredy cat, and gets lonely easily. She can manage without me, but she's also very considerate, independent, and has a strong side to her, which I find impressive. I guess it's what they call a gap. Two-facedness, unexpectedness. I love both her hidden and visible sides, her unexpectedness, and her usual self. When I was dating my wife, we enjoyed going on dates. That day, I was supposed to pick her up in my car and go on a drive date. After meeting up, we kept talking nonstop. Even though we see each other at the office every day, we never run out of things to talk about on our dates. However, our happy time came to a sudden end. A loud crashing sound and impact struck my car.
John,
I reassured my wife, who was already in tears, and stepped out of the car. At the same time, two men got out of the car behind us.
bro, if you suddenly back up like that, this is what happens, you know.
It seems I misjudged the distance when I backed up and hit them.
So, what are we gonna do about this? Should we have you properly pay for the damages?
I'm terribly sorry.
Now, bro, we don't want no apology.
Yeah, money.
This is a real mess for y'all, bro. But we're in a bind too, you know. We're in a hurry. Can you take responsibility if we don't make it on time?
Well,
Speak up, will y'all.
honestly, I was too scared to think straight. Their intimidating attitude and raised voices. The shorter one wearing a flashy shirt was Ben, and the one with the big attitude and loud voice, the big bro type, seemed to be Alvin. Glared at by those two, I thought it was all over for me. First, the police. Yes, I'll call the police. I took out my smartphone, desperately trying to suppress my trembling hands.
No need. No cops.
But when an accident happens, it's the driver's obligation to contact the police.
Listen, bro, we don't give a damn about your circumstances.
It's not about my circumstances. It's a driver's duty. At my unintentionally leaked words, Alvin's eyes flashed, and he put force into his hand. That hand shoved me, and I nearly lost my balance.
Shut your trap. We told you we're in a hurry. It's $8,000.
Huh?
We're charging you $8,000 for repairs and compensation.
I was stunned by the sudden demand for a large sum of money. No matter how you look at it, it's way too high.
John, are you okay?
At that moment, my wife, whom I had told to wait in the car, came running over. The moment she did, the two men's eyes changed color.
Whoa, quite the beauty you got there. She yours, bro.
Ben said, raising his pinky finger. Well,
John, did you call the police?
actually, these two said not to.
Then let's call the insurance company. I could hear from inside the car. These people are unreasonable. At the very least, it's better to go through the insurance company.
My wife usually leaves everything to me, but sometimes she's reliable like this. Yeah, you're right. Okay, let's at least call the insurance company. Encouraged by my wife, I reached for my smartphone again.
Stop, we told y'all. We're in a hurry. Pay up now.
Alvin's pissed off. Yo done it now. When that simpleton Alvin gets pissed, he goes berserk on anyone.
The moment Ben said that, Alvin snatched my smartphone and smashed it on the ground. Of course, the screen shattered to pieces. Something that looked like parts flew out too.
We're with the Crimson Crew. Pay up quick or you'll end up like this too, bro.
Ben's snickering irritated me, but hearing Crimson Crew, I shrank back even more. The Crimson Crew is the most famous and most vicious gangster group in our area that everyone has heard of at least once.
Yeah, I'll even cut it in half. In exchange, let me have this is here, okay?
Alvin said with a smirk, trying to grab my wife's arm. Stop it. Without a second thought, I reflexively shouted and hid my wife behind my back. Naturally, my actions rubbed them the wrong way.
Oh, this all happened cause you hit our car in the first place? Bro.
Yeah, that's right.
Then Alvin grabbed me by the collar, and I braced myself. I even saw something like my life flashing before my eyes. Oh, Catherine is smiling. So cute.
Stop it already.
That's when I was getting a bit carried away. My wife's loud voice cut through our space. Surprised, I turned my eyes towards my wife to see her large eyes brimming with tears. her small hands clenched tightly and trembling.
Missy, you're like a chihuahua, ain't young.
Ben's cackling laughter was hateful,
Please, stop it. I'll pay the money.
and my wife sincerely said, please, making her petite body even smaller.
Well, as long as you pay properly, anything's fine. I understand. Can you come to our house?
Released by Alvin, I hurriedly ran to my wife's side.
John,
My wife squeezed my hand tightly. Catherine, are you okay? Are you hurt?
I'm fine, but John, you.
I'm not hurt either.
Yeah. Save a La Vida Vey stuff for after it's all over.
And so, the four of us ended up riding in my car to my wife's house. Following their directions, we arrived at my wife's family home, although it was my first time coming here. In a word, it was a mansion. Even though this area is rural, it has great access to the city center. The land alone should be quite valuable. Is your family home a landlord or something? I whispered to her, but my wife only returned a gentle smile.
This looks promising, don't it?
I'm looking forward to it.
I could hear the two of them getting excited in hushed voices.
Welcome home, miss.
A man in a suit who passed by quickly greeted us politely. My wife gave a soft smile and a light nod, then walked past.
As I thought, she's a princess type, ain't she?
My wife completely ignored Alvin, who spoke to her gleefully. I had a vague bad feeling. No, a strange uneasiness.
This way, please.
The door of the room where she stopped opened by itself. An automatic door. Thinking that, I hurriedly looked down to see two people opening it in perfect timing. Furthermore, inside the room, three men stood with their hands clasped behind their backs. Glancing at Alvin and Ben, I saw that their faces had turned pale and they were frozen stiff. Wondering why, I followed their gaze to see a hanging scroll in the room with these words written on it, Crimson Crew. The Crimson Crew is the most famous and most vicious gangster group in our area that everyone has heard of at least once.
John, please come in.
My wife first called out to me. Her smile was so faint, it seemed like it would disappear at any moment. I could only nod silently. Then I was guided to the back by one of the men inside and had a chair pulled out for me. I slowly swallowed my saliva. It didn't feel real, like I was dreaming.
You two, please come in as well.
My wife maintained her smile. However, her eyes weren't smiling.
No. We have somewhere to be, so we'll just head out now.
Yay, that's right.
I won't take up much of your time. I just want to give you the promised money.
I was nearly breathless seeing this side of my wife for the first time. Calm, yet with eyes that looked like they could shoot at any moment. She was staring intently at the two with those eyes.
I heard the young miss and her companion caused you trouble. Is that correct?
The most built man among them, perhaps losing patience, stepped forward with a jerk.
Trouble or anything. Just the car, you know.
Charlie, stop making a scary face. The car John was driving hit theirs when he backed up. My face is just what I was born with. So, this person is demanding money? That's right. $8,000 for compensation and repairs. Oh, and what did the insurance company say?
Charlie turned to me and asked, well, they told me not to contact the police or insurance company. I answered while trembling. Even though I thought this person probably wouldn't harm me now, I couldn't hide my fear in this surreal space.
Charlie, stop making a scary face. My apologies, miss. By the way, isn't $8,000 a bit high, right? I think so too. But they're saying $8,000 is the going rate.
Alvin added, this guy, pointing at Ben. Ben was the one who panicked at that.
No, Alvin, you're the one who first negotiated the price.
Nah, I don't know nothing about that.
The two started arguing, either aware or unaware of the cold stares from the people in the room. In contrast to the rapidly chilling atmosphere in the room, I couldn't stop sweating. That's when it happened.
Shut up.
At my wife's muttered words, the room's temperature instantly dropped to 0 degrees. Even Charlie had a faint sheen of sweat on his forehead.
What'd y'all come here for? John caused an accident, and y'all are the victims. So you came all the way to our house demanding compensation and repair costs, right? Well, rather than came, I think we were told to come. Yeah, that's right. I'm the one who called y'all. But in the first place, y'all are the ones demanding $8,000 without going through the police or insurance, ain't y'all? Yes, that's correct.
I was surprised by my wife's sudden way of speaking and stood there with my mouth agape.
Is this the first time you've seen the youngest like this, John?
Suddenly hearing a whisper, I turned around startled to see Charlie standing behind me at some point.
The youngest snapped. When she gets like that, we can't stop her.
Walt, while thinking that's irresponsible, I could only watch my wife's words and actions.
I've got $8,000 ready here. I'll give it to y'all, so hurry up and go. Oh, thank you. As if I'd say that. You think you can get money that easily? How strange.
My wife, smiling with icy, sparkling eyes, was honestly scary. But for some reason, I couldn't look away. My wife's appearance was incredibly beautiful.
If I'm handing over a huge sum like $8,000, I'm gonna make sure everything's in order.
Saying that, my wife had a dash cam brought over.
You don't know. It's a dash cam. I'm aware, but if that's played back, what are you saying? I don't give a damn about your circumstances.
And at my wife's signal, the crew members got ready. The dash cam footage was projected. There, clear as day, was Alvin and Ben's car hitting us from behind.
To me, it looks like y'all intentionally hit our car.
Oh snap. We might have misunderstood something.
So, you think it ends with it was a misunderstanding? What a blissful mind you've got. Y'all are with the Crimson Crew, ain't ya? Which branch? I'll talk to your boss.
Alvin and Ben were sweating profusely, their gazes wandering.
Hurry up and answer.
Even I involuntarily flinched my shoulders. After snapping, my wife's gangster-like way of speaking was at the forefront, but she never yelled. She just calmly laid out her words, cornering the two like that. When she slightly raised her voice, her irritation was evident.
We're terribly sorry. We're not bodies.
Alvin and Ben started apologizing profusely.
So basically, you used our name without permission. That's right. You know, we gangster definitely don't have a good rep. But my wife's sighs wavered for a moment and she bit her lower lip hard. Then in a clear voice, she shouted, "We don't cause trouble for civilians."
I wanted to go to my wife right then. If possible, I wanted to hug her tightly. But I couldn't find the words to say to my wife, who was fighting while carrying a heavy burden beyond my imagination.
Don't think you'll be forgiven for using our name without permission, trying to swindle money through a setup, and harming John. But there's no evidence. We're civilians too. So let's just. Alvin started acting a bit more forceful, relieved that the dash cam didn't show them hurling abuse at me and my wife or breaking my smartphone.
At that moment, my wife showed a cold smile, an expression so sharp she could send someone to the afterlife with a smile.
You better not underestimate us.
Saying that, my wife took out her own smartphone. Of course, it had recorded Alvin and Ben's entire act. And the moment Alvin's words from the recording played, "Yeah, I'll even cut it in half. In exchange, let me have this is here, Kay." The door opened with force.
You're gonna give them my cute lil sis.
At that moment, I didn't miss how my wife furrowed her brows and made a genuinely fed-up face.
Big bro, don't interfere.
I told you not to call me big bro. It sounds like a gangster. Call me dear brother. Honored brother works too.
No thanks.
So, who's the bastard that said they take my cute lil sis?
Alvin and Ben simultaneously pointed at none other than me.
I'd love to see the hearts of you two who can tell such lies at this point. For real.
My wife said in an exasperated voice and showed her smartphone to my brother-in-law. Then, it seemed Charlie briefly explained the situation so far. My brother-in-law's expression instantly froze over. This guy's the real deal. I instinctively thought that way to myself.
In other words, they hit the car themselves and demanded money. They laid hands on Catherine's boyfriend, a civilian, and used our name without permission. And Catherine was in the middle of punishing these two hopeless guys.
Yes.
Hey, you two got any family?
I've got an elderly mom back in my hometown.
I've got a sixes and parents with bad legs. I see.
Saying that, my brother-in-law changed his handsome face into a kind smile. It was a beautiful smile that would captivate even those of the same sex. Alvin and Ben also seemed relieved.
But that's got nothing to do with me.
My brother-in-law's expression went blank again as he said coldly,
Hey, take these guys away.
Big bro.
At his order, Charlie and the other members grabbed Alvin and Ben from behind.
It's Plan Crimson.
Nodding at his words, Charlie and the others dragged away the wailing Alvin and Ben somewhere. As an afterword, there are rumors that after this day, the two were seen looking like old men, or maybe not.
I hate people who try to gain by deceiving others, you see.
Saying that, he smiled at me.
By the way, are you Catherine's boyfriend?
In these few minutes, I painfully understood that this person had a sister complex. I prepared myself to be erased, but he gently crouched in front of me, smiled kindly, and patted my shoulder.
Thank you for trying to protect my sister.
Then he approached my wife, who was staring intently at the door.
If you're gonna settle things, it's easier on both of us to do it in one go. As I thought, my cute little sis is too kind. Excommunication, no disownment.
Leaving those words behind, my brother-in-law also left the room. The crew members must have been considerate, because before I knew it, only my wife and I were left in the room.
I'm sorry.
After a short silence, my wife muttered, "Why are you sorry?" My petite wife always ends up looking up at me when we talk. Even now, as if she were a different person from earlier, she made herself small and looked up at me.
For keeping quiet all this time. I'm sorry. I kept thinking I had to tell you someday, but I was afraid of losing you, John. I just couldn't say it.
Saying that, my wife covered her face with both hands, her shoulders trembling.
You must be surprised. My family is like this, so let's break up.
Why?
I mean, the daughter of a gangster boss.
My wife tried her best to smile, but I could tell she was hurting inside every time she spoke ill of her own family. You know, my dad's never worked a day in his life.
Huh.
He's always been a house husband. My mom still works to make a living, but they're both satisfied with that. And I've never minded either. Every family's got their own circumstances, right? When I smiled, my wife melted into a gentle smile. And earlier, when your brother said excommunication and disownment, you looked sad, Catherine. Before anything about the gangster, you love the people here, don't you? My wife nodded softly. I was surprised to find out you're the daughter of a gangster, but my feelings haven't changed.
Really?
As long as you're okay with it, I'll stay by your side and support you. That's when it happened. With a loud slam, the door opened forcefully. Surprised, I looked in the direction of the sound.
John, you're a man among men.
I'll support you too. Big bro, I'm frustrated, but I'll support you.
My brother-in-law, Ben, and the gang members were all gathered, crying manly tears. After that, my wife and I got married. My wife continues to live while hiding everything as before. She says she hasn't decided what to do going forward, but I think my wife will eventually return to the gangster world. So if that happens, I'm prepared to go with her. Even if I lose everything, I absolutely don't want to lose my wife. And I absolutely don't want to lose the crystallization of love that has sprouted between us. No matter what happens, we've decided to stay together.